How's it going, guys? My name is Kraftee. In this video I'll be showing you guys some really useful pyramid tips and tricks. These can be used in pub matches, in scrims, basically anything, even 1v1s if you want to. With that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing I would like to mention is something I see a lot of pros doing wrong as well. And this is that they're bridging out with floors. So basically what I mean by this is they're crossing a lake or a valley or building over something, and what they'll do is they'll just use floors. They'll just build over it with floors like this. And this is just such a mistake because you can use pyramids instead. And what this does is actually grants you way more protection than floors do. So, for example, say I'm over here, right? And I'm the enemy. What'll happen is, with floors, I can literally just line up an easy shot because you're walking in a straight line. You're walking like this. However, with pyramids, what'll happen is you're gonna walk like this. And it's gonna be so hard to line up a shot, especially with snipers, or even with ARs, really. It's gonna be much more difficult than if they were to place floors. So not only that, but if you think there is somebody in a general direction, but you're not sure and you don't want to waste any more mats, what you can do is you can just place floors and run on the opposite side. That'll make sure that the pyramid is actually blocking you from the person you think is there or might be there. So if you hear a shot very far away, in that direction, and you think they might be close now, what you can do is you can literally just bridge out with pyramids and protect yourself with those. Of course, yes, you will be exposed here, but that's no biggie. It's still better than just placing floors. So that's why pyramids are just so much more effective when bridging, and it's just so much more, it's just so much better. I really encourage you to use pyramids more for bridging out, and yeah, just so much more efficient, so much safer as well. Another thing I would like to mention is with when you're bridging out with pyramids, if you need to get one story higher, you can just place a wall and then a floor, and you're already one story above. So whereas with floors, what you have to do is you have to place a ramp first and then a floor, which can cost you time. Of course, you don't have to place one wall. You can also do this, which is a lot more stable, I guess. Sure, with floors you can also do this sort of fast, but however, if you're standing in the middle of a floor, like right here for example, what you have to do is you have to first jump, place a ramp, and then another floor right after. You can't just do it all in one jump. That's why pyramids are so much more better, and I really recommend you to use them more. Another example of why pyramids are better than floors is, say I'm in this 1x1, right? This is my 1x1. Say I'm boxed up, and my opponent is boxed up right now. My opponent's right there. Usually what people will do is they'll drop down, place a floor, and then start pickaxing this wall. And what oftentimes happens is the opponent, if the opponent is skilled enough, they'll do a quick edit and they'll have just a free shot on you. Sure, you might be fast enough to react with a ramp, but that's not always the case. Especially if you're pickaxing, you might not be able to get that ramp off before they get a shot onto you. So what I like to do is when I'm dropping down to people, instead of placing a floor, I'll place a pyramid, or maybe even a floor as well. But what this allows me to do is if they edit, not only can I pickaxe this safely and then hide behind cover, but if they do edit, I can just take a quick shot and then crouch back into cover. Or I can even do this edit, which gives me a free right-hand peek, and it covers almost my entire body, and they have to expose themselves much more than I do in this situation right here. So that's why it's just so much more better to use pyramids instead of floors when dropping down onto people. Just way more cover, much more you can do with them. You can also do this, and it basically leaves you protected while still being able to pickaxe their builds. So that's one thing I really like about pyramids in these situations. It's so much more effective. Now another thing is, say you're low HP and tilted or something, and you know someone's gonna walk through a door. So let's say that's the wall, or that's the door rather, and we're on this side right here. You can't afford to lose any HP. So doing a right hand shoulder peek, sure, that's good and all, but it is kind of risky because one shot and you're dead. However, if you place a pyramid right here, edit it, and then reset it, what you can do is that you can actually crouch, and this pyramid is transparent, so I can shoot through it right now. And what this allows you to do is once they open the door, first off, they won't expect you to be in this pyramid, most likely. They won't see you. However, another thing is that once they go through the door, you can take a quick shot and then crouch back into the pyramid, and it'll become solid immediately, granting you cover as soon as you crouch back into it. Once you do that, you can do all sorts of things. You can disengage, you can, get some big shots in, whatever you want to do, right? But that initial shot, may surprise them a lot, plus it'll grant you immediate cover, which is just insane. Especially if you're low on HP and you need to get a good shot off without risking too much. Another thing I don't see a lot of people do, which you definitely should, is if you're trying to code someone. So this is my enemy wall right here, or ramp rather, and this is a bad example. I'm ramping up to them. What a lot of people do is they'll simply just cone it, and that's it. They won't do anything else. However, what you should be doing is you should be placing a floor underneath that as well. And because what oftentimes happens is good players will call themselves, and then they'll just edit through, and you won't be able to cone them. However, with a floor, a lot of people don't know this, but you can actually floor through ramps, and this allows you to block them even if they cone themselves before that. Now, really good players will be doing they'll floor and cone themselves, so that won't be possible. However, it's still worth a shot because a lot of people still don't do that. So another thing you can do is if you want to be even more secure on blocking somebody, and you're up against a good player, oftentimes what they'll do is if you cone them or floor them or whatever, what they'll do is they'll just do a wraparound, and they're you didn't block them at all. So what you can do is say someone's ramping up to you, right? This is their ramp, and this is your ramp. What you can do is you can actually, if you cone this, you can actually cone both sides and floor them as well. That was a bit messy, but you get the point. So this does not allow them to do a wraparound. And what usually people will do in this situation is instead of doing a wraparound, they'll just fall, And if you're high up, then they'll take fall damage, right? So that's a great way to throw people off guard and confuse them. And oftentimes, get themselves killed into fall damage. So that's a great technique to use if you're against a good player that knows wraparounds and stuff. So if you're in a high point pop-up cup, you can do that. Now, if you want to be even more secure, what you can do is if they're ramping up to you, and you're ramping up to them, what you can do, you can cone them, add the floors, and box them in. Oh, what the hell? Well, you can box them in, and you can place some traps here. Once you did that, you can place a floor and a wall ramp, and what this will do is they'll be trapped down there. They're gonna have to break out, and why you place a wall here is because oftentimes good players, they'll say I'm in this situation right here. I'm in this situation. What I would do is I'd either break through, or what I would do is I'd edit the ramp and just straight up shoot you, right? However, with that wall right there and this ramp, they can't do that anymore. So while they're down there figuring out what to do or breaking out, you can already retake high ground, and boom, you're already way above them while they're still trying to get out. So that's a great way to kind of trap them, waste their time, or rather give yourself more time. That's what I should have said. That's a great way to completely neglect a good player from ramping above you. It does take some practice to do this fast. However, it shouldn't be too hard. Let's see, practice it a little. Now here is me doing it in full speed. Now another reason why you should be using pyramids instead of floors is because oftentimes what'll happen is when you slide down a mountain or fall somewhere and you just place a floor, you'll oftentimes get fall damage even though you may not think you deserve it. So what I mean by that is, say you're falling down a slight slope and you take fall damage. If you would have placed a pyramid instead of a floor, you probably wouldn't have taken fall damage right there. Let me show you an example. So right there, we fell off 3 ramps and we took exactly 10 fall damage. Now let me show you what happens when you fall down the exact same ramp but place a pyramid on the floor. You may not see it, but the pyramid is there, and we didn't take any fall damage. So this is why pyramids are so overpowered, because even though you may not think they'll affect you or help you, they're actually going to stop you from taking fall damage where you may think you don't deserve it. Now of course that was a really bizarre example, but you get the idea. Oftentimes you take fall damage, you think you shouldn't have taken fall damage. However, if you would have placed a pyramid instead of a floor, you probably wouldn't have taken any fall damage. So that's just a great way to counter fall damage when you least expect it, basically. So just get into the habit of using pyramids over floors, and I'm sure it's gonna save your life one day. Another thing I want to talk about that I think it's pretty common, but I'd still like to mention it just in case some people don't know. If you're playing scrims or you're turtled up like this, what you can do is actually, if you edit your floor and then edit the pyramid, you can actually see through the pyramid and see what's going on outside. And you can just flip your ramp, do that, and then see what's going on the other side, and etc. So just having a pyramid and just editing through it, because on the outside they can't actually see you, and they can't shoot you either. Of course, if they have say a P90, they could laser you pretty fast, but you should have enough time to react and reset your floor and then just spam pyramid or your walls or whatever you need. So that's another useful thing I like to use in scrims. It's pretty common, but in case you didn't know, I still wanted to mention it. Another thing that I'd like to mention is something I haven't seen. I myself haven't seen anybody do this before. But if you're on flat ground and you're getting spammed by rockets or nades or whatever it is, you have to make sure this is absolutely flat ground though. It won't work on anything else. What you can do is you can actually just sit and just turbo build. So right now I'm looking down, however I'm actually holding out my pyramid and turbo building it. And what this will do is, as soon as the pyramid gets destroyed, I'm immediately gonna be placing another pyramid, and it won't allow any explodes to get through it. I don't know how I placed those, but whatever. But yeah, if you just hold down your pyramid, nothing will actually get through, unless you have super high ping, that is. So another thing I would like to address is something I'm not sure if it's considered an exploit or not. That's why I myself don't use it in games. However, I've seen it multiple times being used against me, and knowing the counter is just so crucial, especially in scrims. So say someone's boxed up and someone's above you and they're trying to break in. What they'll do is they'll build 2 walls, W key the corner of the wall, and then shoot down or pickaxe down. And what this will happen is, the person below is turbo building, and as you can see, the pyramid immediately becomes transparent. So if I break this floor, I can just drop through. Now, the counter to this is to be very aware of how the pyramid looks. So that if it does become yellow, you immediately start placing floors instead. So that's just something I wanted to point out. Don't do this in game, just in case it is considered an exploit, but it is good to know the counter of it. If you guys did learn something new in this video, I'd appreciate it a lot if you guys subscribed, dropped a like, and commented. Dropping a like and commenting helps boost this video and get it into more people's suggested sections. So I'd appreciate it a lot if you guys would do that. It would help me out a lot. If you want to, you can use my code, just Kraftee, C-R-A-F-T-Y, in the item shop. It would help me support as well. If you want to check out my Twitch or have any questions you would like to ask me, twitch.tv/Kraftee, Kraftee. All the links will be in the description of this video, of course. So yeah, with that being said, I really hope you guys learned something new and enjoyed this video. And I hope to see you guys in the next video or stream. See ya!